You might not be lazy. You might not be slow. You might not be weird. Your brain may just be working in a way most people around you never understood. Because intelligence does not always look like perfect grades. It does not always look like being the loudest person in the room. It does not always look like answering fast. Sometimes intelligence looks like silence, overthinking, asking strange questions, getting bored easily, feeling different from everyone around you, and noticing things people miss right in front of their eyes. So if you have ever felt like something is wrong with you because your mind does not work like everyone else's, watch this carefully, because these are 10 signs you might be smarter than you think. Number 1. You question things people accept too easily. Most people hear an answer and stop there. You hear an answer and your mind asks, why? Why is it like that? Who decided that? What if everyone is wrong? What if this rule only exists because people stopped questioning it? This can make you look difficult. It can make people call you stubborn, argumentative, too deep, too serious. But sometimes, that is not rebellion. That is intelligence refusing to sleep. Because a smart mind does not only collect answers, it investigates the reason behind the answer. And that is why you may struggle in environments where people only want obedience. School may have rewarded people who memorized. Work may reward people who follow instructions. Society may reward people who agree quickly. But your mind keeps searching for the hidden structure underneath everything. That is not a weakness. That is a sign your brain does not trust the surface. Number 2. You notice patterns before people explain them. You can see when someone's behavior is changing. You can feel when a conversation is about to turn bad. You can sense when a person is pretending. You notice repeated mistakes, repeated excuses, repeated lies, repeated energy. And sometimes you cannot explain how you know. You just know. People may call you paranoid. They may say you are reading too much into things. But later, the pattern proves itself. This is because intelligence is not only about knowing facts. Sometimes it is about connecting dots faster than people realize dots exist. Your brain is always comparing, always measuring, always asking, have I seen this before? Where is this going? What does this small thing mean? That is why you may feel mentally tired, even when you did nothing physical. Because your mind is always running in the background. Number 3. You get bored by shallow conversations. You may not hate people. You may not think you are better than everyone. But small talk drains you. Gossip drains you. Repeating the same empty conversations drains you. You want to talk about why people behave the way they behave. Why society works the way it works. Why life feels strange. Why people lie. Why people suffer. Why people chase things they do not even understand. But around some people, you learn to stay quiet. Because whenever you go deep, they look at you like you ruined the mood. So you shrink yourself. You laugh at things you do not find funny. You act interested in conversations that do not feed your mind. And after a while, you start thinking something is wrong with you. But maybe nothing is wrong. Maybe your mind just needs depth the way lungs need air. A deep mind gets bored in shallow water. Number 4. You overthink because your brain sees too many possibilities. People say, stop overthinking, but they do not understand what is happening inside your head. You are not thinking about one thing. You are thinking about 10 versions of one thing. What could happen? What might happen? What they meant? What you should have said? What will happen if you fail? What will happen if you succeed? What could go wrong? What nobody is noticing? Overthinking can hurt you. It can steal peace. It can make simple things feel heavy. But it can also mean your brain is powerful enough to simulate many outcomes at once. The problem is not that your mind is empty. The problem is that your mind is too full. You are not always confused because you are dumb. Sometimes you are confused because you can see too many angles. A simple mind may choose quickly because it sees only one road. A deeper mind hesitates because it sees the whole map. Number 5. You learn better alone than under pressure. Some people look smart in public. They answer fast. They speak loudly. They perform well when people are watching. But you may be different. When someone is standing over you, your mind freezes. When you are rushed, you forget things you actually know. When people judge you, your brain becomes noisy. But when you are alone, something changes. You understand faster. You connect ideas. You replay the lesson. You test things. You learn quietly. And suddenly, what looked difficult becomes clear. This does not mean you are not smart. It may mean your intelligence needs space. Some minds do not perform well under pressure because they are built for depth, not display. They need silence, time, privacy, freedom to make mistakes without being watched. So maybe you are not slow. Maybe your brain does not like being forced to dance in front of a crowd. Number 6. You understand people without them explaining everything. You hear the tone behind the words. You notice the pause, the fake smile, the sudden change in energy, the way someone avoids a question, the way their face changes for half a second. You can tell when someone is hurt but pretending to be fine. You can tell when someone is angry but trying to sound calm. You can tell when someone is lying, not because you have proof yet, but because something feels off. This is emotional intelligence. And many people do not count it as intelligence because it does not always look academic. But reading people is a real skill. Understanding silence is a real skill. Seeing what people hide is a real skill. Some people can read books. Some people can read rooms. And if you can read both, you are more dangerous than you think. Number 7. You feel different from your environment. Sometimes you feel like you were born in the wrong place, not because you hate where you are from, but because the way you think does not match the people around you. You may care about things they ignore. You may question things they accept. You may dream bigger than the environment allows. You may feel trapped in conversations, habits, and expectations that feel too small for your mind. So people call you strange. They say you think too much. They say you are not realistic. They tell you to calm down, to be normal, to stop acting different. But sometimes, being different is not a sign that something is wrong with you. Sometimes it means your environment does not have a mirror big enough to reflect your mind. A fish looks stupid when judged by how it climbs a tree, and a deep mind can look broken in a shallow place. Number 8. You are curious about things that do not give quick rewards. Some people only learn when money is involved, only pay attention when there is a test, only care when it helps them immediately. But you can get obsessed with understanding something just because it is interesting. You want to know how people think, how power works, how the brain works, why memories change, why society behaves like a machine, why people follow trends, why humans fear rejection, why life feels unreal sometimes. This kind of curiosity is a major sign of intelligence, because your mind is not only chasing reward, it is chasing understanding. You do not just want to use the world, you want to understand the world, and that is rare, because most people live inside systems they never question. But your mind keeps looking for the hidden wires. Number 9. You doubt yourself even when you are capable. This one is painful, because smart people are not always confident. In fact, many intelligent people doubt themselves because they can see everything they do not know. A foolish person may feel certain because they only see the surface. But a smart person sees the complexity. They know one answer can have many layers. They know they could be wrong. They know there is always more to learn, so they hesitate. They second guess. They ask, am I good enough? Do I really understand this? What if I am not as smart as people think? But that doubt does not always mean weakness. Sometimes it means your mind is honest. You are aware of your limits. You are aware of the unknown. And that awareness can make you underestimate yourself. The strange thing is, the people who are truly empty often feel full, and the people who are full often feel unfinished. Number 10. People understand your value late. Some intelligence is obvious immediately. It speaks loudly. It wins awards early. It performs well in public. But some intelligence is hidden. It grows quietly. It watches. It learns. It survives. It does not always impress people at first because it is not trying to impress. It is building. And that is why people may underestimate you for years. They may think you are quiet because you have nothing to say. They may think you are slow because you take time to answer. They may think you are slow because you do not show off. Then one day, your results speak. Your insight appears. Your creativity shows. Your survival becomes proof. And people suddenly realize they were standing beside someone they never really saw. That is the kind of intelligence people notice late. The kind that does not announce itself. the kind that becomes undeniable. So no, being smart does not always feel powerful. Sometimes it feels lonely. Sometimes it feels confusing. Sometimes it feels like your brain is too loud and your life is too small. Sometimes it feels like being surrounded by people who move through life without questioning anything, while you cannot stop seeing the hidden patterns. But maybe the reason you never felt smart is because you were measuring your mind with the wrong ruler. You were not dumb. You were not broken. You were not too weird. You may have been thinking deeper than your environment knew how to recognize. And once you understand that, you stop asking, "What is wrong with me?" And you start asking, "What can this mind become if I finally learn how to use it?"